Hi everyone, it's Mike here with an unplanned mixed media canvas. Now when I say unplanned, it's because I had no idea that I'd need to create one of these this weekend. The reason I'm doing it is because I've been asked to do a mixed media class, and the person whose venue it is asked me to send a sample of what people will be doing in the class. And as I had no idea what they're going to be doing, I had to create something to send down to show what we can do in the class. So this is what I'm doing today. As you can see, this is a 5x7 shallow canvas. It's not a deep walled one, and all I'm doing is giving the canvas a real good coating with black gesso and then heat drying before I add my first layer of texture. So these are some scraps of burlap that I have in my stash. I have a bag full of them, and I'm using some heavy structure gel just to stick them down onto the canvas front. Now the reason I'm using heavy structure gel is because I want the gel to go into the cavities on the burlap, so I know it's really going to stick down nice and solid. So I'm just going to add 3 scraps of the burlap onto the front of the canvas in different sizes, and I need to trim one down just to make it to fit, so you can see me frame the edges to make sure that I've got some nice texture on those edges. So there I'm just cleaning off all the excess of the structure gel before I bring in the heat gun, just to give it a little bit of a heat blast, just to get it to primarily set. It won't set completely, but just so that it will hold while I start to add all my junk items on there. So I've been through my junk tub and I've pulled out some items that I want to use on this canvas, and you'll see me applying all the items, all my junk pieces, all my little findings and buttons and pieces of chipboard to the canvas with a hot glue gun. And I'm just going to shut up and let you watch the process of me sticking them all down. Oh, before I forget, for those that are interested, the video is speeded up to 3 times its normal speed. Okay, so there are all my bits stuck to the canvas. And now the black gesso comes back out, and I'm going to cover every single item with a very liberal coating of the black gesso, making sure I get into all of the nooks and crannies. You'll see me twisting and turning the canvas, making sure I can get in from every angle to make sure I cover everything that I possibly can. As I've said in some other videos that I've done where I've done mixed media items like this, what I love about it is the fact that you can use anything on one of these canvases, because as soon as you add that coat of black gesso or white gesso over the top, no matter what colour it is or what texture or where it's from, what it's made of, it all becomes unified under that black gesso and everything just looks superb. You'll see me heat setting all the gesso because it takes literally seconds once you get the heat tool on to dry. And one of the beautiful things about the gesso is that you can heat set it and add gesso and heat set as you're going along. So if you see any areas that you've missed, you can literally add the gesso and as you're heat setting it, and it will almost dry instantaneously. Just be careful though if you are doing this, because if you're using a synthetic fibred brush or a nylon brush, then you are likely to melt the bristles of your brush if you hold the heat gun over the top. So you'll see me use a couple of different spritzers for this project. I've created a spritzer with indigo blue Miss Moneypenny copper paint. And I've also used a frosted mint metallic paint from Do Crafts. It's part of their artiste range, just mixed with water in a spritzer bottle, and those are the two colours that you've just seen me apply there. And I'm just heat setting them now because they do dry pretty quickly, and you'll see me adding a few extra bits and pieces as I'm going. I will be doing a video in the future showing you how I create my spritzers using those acrylic paints, so if anybody's interested, keep your eyes open for that video coming up soon. So I've got the gesso out again, and all I'm doing now is just going back over the top of all those acrylic paints, and I'm just toning down some of that colour. Now you might be wondering why. It's because I seem to have lost all of the black that was originally there, and I wanted to bring some of that back in again. So just to grunge it down a little bit and just to tone all the colours down, because they can be a little bit too shiny. So just to make them look a little bit more Asian, a bit more worn and a bit more weathered, I'm just adding a little bit of the gesso back over the top with a dry brush. Now that's really important. You must use a dry brush for this. And there we go, canvas almost finished. All I need to do now is just add a little coat of saying in that top right hand corner, and we are done. The whole process for making this canvas took approximately about an hour and a half, and I've edited and cut it down so you can see it all speeded up in just over 9 minutes, I think. So the printed stickers that I'm using are the Big Chat stickers from Tim Holt's Ideology range, and all I've used there you go, the Big Chat ones, just to prove a point, and all I've put there is explore your imagination, and I think that is a really good sample to send to somebody to show them what we can do in class.